Once upon a time, in a small cottage at the edge of a deep green forest, lived a little girl and her mother. They were kind and good-hearted, but oh so poor. One day, their cupboards were completely bare. There wasn't a single crumb of bread left, not even a drop of milk. With a heavy heart, the little girl knew she had to do something. So she took a small basket and ventured into the woods, hoping to find some berries or nuts to eat. She walked for what felt like hours, deeper and deeper into the forest, but her basket remained empty. Just as she was about to lose hope, she saw a gentle light filtering through the trees. She followed it and came to a small clearing where an old woman with kind, crinkling eyes sat on a mossy log. The old woman seemed to know everything about the little girl's troubles without a single word being spoken. "My dear child," the old woman said in a voice as soft as rustling leaves, "I know of your sorrow and your hunger." She reached into her cloak and pulled out a small, plain-looking iron pot. "Take this," she said, placing it in the girl's hands. "This is no ordinary pot. When you are hungry, simply say, 'Boil, little pot, boil,' and it will cook you the most delicious, sweet porridge you have ever tasted. And when you have had enough, you must say, 'Stop, little pot, stop,' and it will cease its cooking." Remember those words well. The little girl's eyes widened in amazement. She thanked the old woman profusely, her heart filled with gratitude and wonder. Clutching the little pot tightly, she ran all the way home, eager to show her mother this incredible gift. When she arrived, she placed the pot on their small wooden table. Her mother looked at it, puzzled. "What's this, my dear?" she asked. The little girl smiled brightly. "Just watch, mother." She took a deep breath and said clearly, "Boil, little pot, boil." Instantly, a wonderful aroma filled the room as the pot began to bubble and fill with warm, sweet, creamy porridge. They couldn't believe their eyes. They ate and ate until their bellies were full and content. Then the little girl commanded, "Stop, little pot, stop." And just like that, the bubbling ceased. From that day on, their lives were changed. Their poverty and hunger were gone. Whenever they wished, they would have delicious porridge to eat. The little girl and her mother were happy and never went to bed with empty stomachs again. The little pot was their greatest treasure, and they always made sure to remember the magic words. One day, the little girl went out to visit a neighbor in the village. While she was gone, her mother felt a bit hungry. She looked at the little pot sitting on the table and thought, "I can do this myself." She smiled and said confidently, "Boil, little pot, boil." Sure enough, the pot began to cook the wonderful sweet porridge. The mother enjoyed a hearty meal, eating until she was completely satisfied. "Ah, that was lovely," she sighed happily. Now, it was time to make it stop. She stood up and said, "All right, that's enough now." But the pot kept boiling. The porridge rose to the brim. Pot, cease. She tried, porridge spilled over the edge, plopping onto the table. It kept cooking. End, finish. "Halt," she cried, growing panicked, but she had forgotten the one true magic word. The porridge flowed from the table onto the floor. Soon the entire kitchen was covered in a thick, sweet, creamy river. The mother scrambled onto a chair as the porridge continued to rise. It seeped under the door and filled the whole house. Still, the pot cooked on porridge poured out the windows and into the street, a sweet-smelling flood that began to cover the entire town. It was as if the little pot wanted to feed the whole world. The townspeople were in chaos. They ran from their homes, only to find the streets filled with porridge. No one knew what to do or how to stop the magical flood. The porridge crept up the walls of the houses, one by one, until only a single house at the very top of the hill remained untouched. Just then, the little girl was on her way home. From the top of the hill, she saw the incredible sight. Her town was buried in porridge. She knew immediately what must have happened. She ran as fast as her legs could carry her, down into the sticky sea. Finally, reaching her own front door, she waded through the porridge-filled house and saw the little pot still bubbling away on the table. Without a moment's hesitation, she called out the simple magic words, "Stop, little pot, stop," and at once it did. The bubbling ceased, and the pots stood silent. The great porridge flood was finally over, but the town was still buried. And so the story goes that for anyone who wanted to get back to their home in the town, they had to eat their way back, one spoonful at a time. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories.